Hey, what's going on? It's your boy BT, and I came here to talk some boxing with thousands of True School Sports subscribers. Now, hope you're having a great day wherever you're at watching this video. Hope everything's all good. Make sure you smash that like button. We're gonna talk about. We're gonna take it over to the middleweight division here for a second because Canelo Alvarez had some interesting comments on on Demetrius Boo Boo Andrade. A guy who's a world champion in his weight class, a guy that's been asking for a fight for quite some time. Andrade is someone that's he holds a belt. He's currently holding the WBO middleweight title. So it's obviously if you're Canelo Alvarez and you're looking to become undisputed champion, or that's what you should be wanting to do, he's someone you got to beat, along with Triple G, who just captured the IBF title this weekend. But they asked Canelo about Demetrius Boo Boo Andrade, and I always said this about Canelo. I've always said that every time Demetrius Andrade gets mentioned, he doesn't he forgets how to speak English. He doesn't want no smoke with Demetrius Andrade. He'll fight everybody in the world. He'll even fight the great Sergey Kovalev at light heavyweight before he fights Demetrius Andrade. And he actually made some comments about Demetrius Andrade, and I wanted to read them. So here's what Canelo said about Demetrius Andrade verbatim. He said, I quote, "The truth is, he hasn't fought anybody. He's also very boring. Maybe he's a good fighter, but he's a boring fighter. When there's a boring fight, people are going to blame me. He doesn't represent a challenge because he hasn't fought anybody," end quote. Now look, when it comes to fighters, because I have the utmost respect for fighters. Like, I never fought as a pro, I didn't even fight. I didn't fight as an amateur either, but I sparred plenty of rounds in the gym, and I have a very, very small. When I say very small, I mean very small understanding of what goes on in that ring. Because I'll never know what it's like to fight in front of 30,000 people on network television. I'll never know that. But I've been in the ring, so I know what taking a punch feels like. I know what giving a punch feels like. I know what it's like to fight when you're bleeding, or you made somebody else bleed, or you messed up your shoulder. Like, I've experienced those things. So like, I don't want to disrespect fighters, and I don't like calling fighters cowards, because anybody, I don't care if your record is 299. If you had the audacity and the balls to step in the ring, you deserve the utmost respect. But I don't know, man. Like, the word coward, I mean, I don't want to call Canelo a coward, because if you look at his resume, he's fought so many fantastic fighters. But when it comes to Demetrius Andrade, he's acting very cowardice. Like, he's being very cowardice about Demetrius Andrade, because Andrade, look, I've been saying this for the longest time, and if you just go check any videos that I made this year in regards to Andrade versus Canelo. Okay, I've said that style is all wrong for him, and anybody in the division, and personally, like, just my personal opinion, and that's really all it is. I'm just a kid from Dania who has a boxing channel, but it's just my personal opinion that Demetrius Andrade is the best middleweight in the world. I really believe he's the most talented, he's the most skillful, and if given the opportunity, he will prove it. But when you get guys like Canelo, who have a lot of power in boxing, they make a lot of money, they can dictate a lot of things, Demetrius Andrade is not somebody he'll never be his first option. And like, the same things he's saying in his quote are the same things that his dumbass fans put in my comment section when I'm live on YouTube. Like, they'll say things like, "Oh, Brennan, BT, he's boring, and maybe he's a good fighter. He hasn't fought nobody." Well, okay, he hasn't fought nobody. Let's go to his resume. Let's see. Let's go through his last 6 fights. Okay, so his last 6 fights. And before I explain to you, because a lot of you guys, especially the Canelo fans, you guys don't know much about boxing. And I hate to say that, because I sound like a dick when I say that, but it's the truth. A lot of you Canelo fanboys who come on my channel do not know a lot about boxing. Now, 6 fights ago, he fought Willie Nelson. That was in 2016, all right? And you got to ask yourself the question, do you think Tony Harrison is a good fighter? Because Tony Harrison beat Jermell Charlo, and everybody thinks Tony Harrison's a good fighter now. Everybody rates Tony Harrison after that win. But people forget that the guy who took his O, that was the first man to beat him and stopped him, and he made people started calling Tony Harrison a hype job after he stopped him, was Willie Nelson. And what did Demetrius Andrade do when he fought Willie Nelson? He stopped him. He outclassed him, and he did that coming off a 7th, 8th month layoff. He hadn't fought in 8 months, so he outclassed Willie Nelson. And then he fought a guy like Artur Akavov, a guy who's not a big name, a fighter who doesn't have a big name, but he fought somebody with a big name in Billy Joe Saunders. Everybody says Billy Joe Saunders is this great middleweight, but Artur Akavov went life and death with Billy Joe Saunders. And what did Andre do to Artur Akavov? He didn't lose a round and he stopped him, okay? And then everybody says Daniel Jacobs is this great middleweight. Daniel Jacobs, the Miracle Man, Brooklyn, all that good stuff. And he, credit to Jacobs, he is a good middleweight. But he fought Sulecki from Poland. And he went life and death with Sulecki. And what did Andre do to Sulecki? He won every round. He whitewashed him. So, okay, maybe the names are not recognizable and Canelo really isn't up on his boxing because he's got other things to tend to. Or maybe he's just acting like he doesn't know about Demetrius Andrade's resume. But the fact of the matter is, while the names might not be the most recognizable, a lot of the guys in his resume have given some of the biggest names in the division problems. Arguably beat them. They're not easy outs. And just because Canelo doesn't know who they are or he acts like he doesn't know who they are does not mean they're not good, okay? Now, it's not like Demetrius Boo Boo Andrade hasn't been calling out. He's been calling out Canelo for like half a decade now. Like literally since 2015 he's been calling this guy out and they don't want to fight him. And the reason they don't want to fight him is because they know he's an A-level fighter. They know he's A-level talent. They know he's elite. They know that with him being so tall for the weight class, with his ability to box, move, slug, have punching power, throw from different angles, they know that these things, punching on the move, these are the things that make a complete fighter. And Demetrius Andrade is a complete fighter. And that's why Canelo doesn't want to fight him. He wants to fight someone like Triple G, who's slow-footed and make, and to be fair to Canelo, in that regard, in that aspect, Triple G brings a lot more money to the table. It's a bigger fight monetarily, but you can't say he doesn't represent a challenge because he's a champion. And every time, like I see guys in weight classes who are not good, who are not like championship level material, pick up title belts through circumstance. Like a guy might vacate his belt and they just happen to be ranked 4th or 5th and they get a title shot and they win a fight and they get a belt, and it happens in boxing quite a lot. That's not the case with Andrade. Andrade takes fighters who are they the elite fighters? No, but they're that tier right below the elite fighters, the bottom 10 to top 13, 14, 15 level contenders, and he makes them look average, and that's not easy to do. And he's whitewashing them. And he's getting them out of there. So it's cowardice. There's no other way to put it. From Canelo, it's cowardice. Now I'm not gonna call him a coward because he's going up to light heavyweight and he's fighting the Crusher. He's fighting Sergey Kovalev. So I can't call Canelo a coward. I'm very excited for his next fight. But when it comes to this middleweight division, I mean, he has it to me, and this is my take. He has no interest in trying to become the undisputed champion at middleweight because there's been so many opportunities to where he could have fought, the other champions, and he's not doing it. He's going up to 168 and he's fighting Rocky Fielding. I don't want to call Rocky Fielding a bum, but Rocky Fielding was never gonna beat Canelo, and it was an easy fight. It was an easy matchup. Anybody who knew anything about Rocky Fielding and Canelo knew that fight was not close. Now Triple G is a world champion again, which I don't even agree with that. I thought Demetrius Andrade beat Triple G, but that's another video. And this puts the potential Canelo Triple G third fight on the table, and that's gonna bring a lot of money. And personally, look, I'm gonna watch it. I'll get excited about it because it's a big fight when it comes around. But truthfully, the middleweight division needs to move on from Triple G and Canelo as far as them two fighting, because honestly, Triple G has unfinished business with Derevinchenko. He lost to Derevinchenko on Saturday, and then Canelo, you should be fighting Andrade. Somebody needs to fight Demetrius Boo Boo Andrade. I'm sick of this guy. When he was at 154, nobody wanted to fight him. They all ducked him at 154. Now he's up another weight class, and the same thing is happening. He has the same belt from the same sanctioning body, and he still can't get a big fight. And there's literally no excuse. All the excuses that prevent big fights in boxing could easily be ruled out when you look at the situation. A lot of times in boxing, they say, oh, well, I can't fight this guy because I'm with that promoter, and you're with that promoter, and you're with that network, and I'm with that network. There's none of those issues here. Andrade is a champion. He's on the same network as Canelo. He's got the same promoter not the same promoter, but he's got a promoter that works with Andrade's promoter because they're on the same network, which is DAZN. And then he's an undefeated fighter. He's never lost, okay? So there's so many reasons why that fight should happen and why he should give it more consideration. But all we hear from Canelo when it comes to Andrade is the same things his fans say. Oh, he's boring. Oh, maybe he's a good fighter, which is ridiculous. He was a fantastic amateur. He's never lost in the pros. He really only had one. No, he's only had 2 tough fights in the professional ranks in boxing of all of his fights. He's only had 2 tough fights. Everybody else, he's whitewashing and stopping. And he hasn't had, like if you look at his last 6 fights, you may not know the names, but they're not. Those guys are not soft touches. So it's disappointing because I genuinely believe that this is a fight that's never going to happen, and it's a fight that should happen, because Canelo should be showing that. I mean, he's showing ambition by fighting Kovalev, so I give him all the credit there. But even if he beats Kovalev, he's going to stay at 175. Who knows? I think he'll probably still come back down to 160. So if he comes back down to 160, he should be looking to show that ambition to try to become undisputed, to try to really put that stamp as the best Mexican fighter of all time. And I don't quite see it from Canelo, and it's disappointing, because I think he has improved. He has become a better fighter over the years since the Floyd fight. And honestly, when it comes to Andrade, like, unless we're talking about Terrence Crawford, because Terrence Crawford, as it stands right now, of those American fighters at the top level, the only fighter that's probably more talented than Terrence Crawford is Demetrius Boo Boo Andrade, and he's not getting the chance to prove it, which pisses me off. And that's kind of like, why the Boxing Hall of Fame sometimes can be a joke, because a lot of times you could be the best fighter but not get the big fights. Like, a good example of that would be in the 80s. You had the big four at middleweight. You had Leonard, you had Sugar Ray Leonard, you had Roberto Duran, you had Marvin Hagler, you had all those guys, right? But then, none of them fought Aaron Pryor. None of them fought Aaron Pryor, really. So that never happened. So it is what it is. But that's boxing. But you guys can leave your comments down below. I would like to see what the Canelo fans think about this, because I know I have a lot of them that subscribe to me. What do you guys think about your boy pretty much parroting what you guys say on my lives and in my videos where I say that Demetrius Andrade would beat Canelo? And for the Andrade fans, what do you think about this? Is this, how do you feel about all this? Just let me know in the comments down below. I'd love to hear from you guys as always. And by the time this video comes out, I'll probably be at 23,000 subscribers. So just in advance, thank you guys. 23K, big number. So hopefully we can get to that 30K in the not too distant future. That's what we're pushing for. Doing big things here on True School Sports. Got the England trip coming up. It's good time. So yeah, leave your comments down below. Take the time to subscribe. Like I say in every single one of these videos, you can love me or you can hate me, but I'm just a kid from Dayton. So until next time, take care, guys.